So understanding play schemas can turn sibling rivalry into sibling harmony. By supporting the unique play patterns, you can create more peaceful and a more playful home. You can help them feel seen, heard, and validated. Kia ora, hello, I'm Ruth Verco, a teacher turned mum here on a mission to demystify child's play through understanding play schemas. If you've ever found yourself asking, why is my child doing that? Whether it's throwing their soft toys, hiding stones around the house, or lining up their crayons, then you're in the right place, and certainly not alone. Here, we'll explore the magic of play through the lens of play schemas, those hidden, repeated patterns in your child's behaviour that holds the key to unlocking more meaningful play and connection. Through understanding play schemas, you'll be able to move beyond those one-off activities and understand the why behind your child's play. Join me each week as we dive into playful insights that will help you bring more joy, connection, and understanding into your parenting journey and set the stage for a lifetime of learning. Let's dive on in. Hello and welcome back to Demystifying Child's Play. I'm Ruth Verco, your guide to demystifying the fascinating world of kids playing. Whether you're out on a walk, catching a rare moment of quiet, or multitasking around the house, let's dive on in. Now this week is week 2 of a 3-part series. Last week, we talked about independent play and how understanding play schemas can help your child engage for longer and really enjoy what they're doing. This week, we're talking about others. So if your child is playing with a sibling or a friend, how understanding play schemas can really help the chaos. And next week, we're going to be talking about adults, how you or maybe a family member or friend can play with your child without taking over, and how play schemas and understanding them can really make so much more fun. So for this week, let's picture that your child is gleefully launching toys across the room, while your preschooler is cocooning themselves in every blanket they can find. Sounds familiar? If sibling playtime sometimes feels like a clash of the titans, then this episode is for you. Today we're going to explore how understanding child's play can help siblings or friends play more harmoniously. Less chaos, fewer arguments, and more fun. So let's make it happen. Now, if you're thinking, what are play schemas? They are the natural patterns of behaviour and play that children use to explore the world. It's like their personal play blueprints. If you're unsure, go over to playschemas.com/free, and there I've got a schema guide showing the top 10 play schemas and explaining a little bit about what they are. So head over there if you want some more information. Now today I'm going to say siblings a lot, because if you have more than one child at home, it's more than likely you've seen one, if not 100,000 clashes. But a lot of what I'm saying can be the same applying for friends as well. I'll never forget the time our son had his first 2 friends over that he chose, not ones that we chose. It amazed me how quickly they went from best friends to enemies. The only harder thing will be not having as much of a chance to observe the schema that the friend is working through. So I suggest maybe taking the chance at the start of the playtime to watch, or just ask their parent. And if they give you a confused face when you say, what schema are they working on? Send them over to this podcast. Okay, so your child has a friend over, or their sibling, and one child is loving throwing balls, which would be the trajectory schema, while another is obsessed with packing and carrying toys from one room to another, the transporting schema. Their play styles are different, but they're both equally valid ways of learning. Both need to be validated in their play. Choosing one play over another can be like picking a favourite child or only giving one a cookie. We all know what would happen then. And this is when clashes can happen. When siblings or friends are working on different schemas, they can feel like their play is at odds. One is building a masterpiece and the other is accidentally or intentionally tearing it down. Sound familiar? It's like one sibling wants to conduct a symphony while the other is hosting a rock concert. Both have their creative vision, just not quite in sync, and don't always sound great together. So this is why understanding schemas can transform sibling play. So when you understand which schemas they can work through, firstly, you can get fewer arguments. When you understand these schemas, you can set up activities or spaces that reduce conflicts and prevent the dreaded, "Mom, they're ruining my game" moments. But the caveat for the setup is, if you listen to the independent play one, or if you haven't, go back. You don't need to create Pinterest-worthy setups. Just provide toys and objects they'll be interested in. For example, if your child is into enveloping and you don't want your couch pulled apart, provide blankets or scarves. Knowing which schema they're working through can help you be one step ahead and help everything work well together. So you're not setting up this amazing play space that they're just not interested in. Another way that using the schemas and knowing about them can help is encouraging more cooperative play. When you create opportunities for schemas to overlap, it allows siblings to connect while exploring their own unique play styles. They can be playing individually together. It also supports their individual growth. Each child gets to develop their schema without feeling overshadowed, leading to more meaningful play. And last but not least, your sanity. As parents, let's be real. When siblings play happily together, you might even get that moment to enjoy your hot tea hot and a sneaky hot biscuit. So what I'm going to give you is just 4-step strategies to help more harmonious sibling play. Now have a think about how they're going to work in your house, because with anything, every child is different. Step 1, as it always is, identify their schema. Observe, observe, observe. Sitting back and just seeing what they're doing. For example, throwing toys or balls, trajectory. Picking and moving objects, transporting. Wrapping themselves in blankets, enveloping. If all these words are really hard to stick in your head, don't forget to go to playschemas.com/free to grab the top 10 cheat sheet, which outlines the 10 most common play schemas. That's playschemas.com/free. Okay, so once you've done your observations, step 2 is create schema-friendly overlaps. So this is where you get to be a bit creative and think about how their schemas might be able to complement each other. For example, trajectory and transporting. You could set up a ramp where one child can send the balls down and the other child can collect them and carry them back. It's a win-win for both of them. Or if you've got space outside, one can throw the balls and the other one can bring them back, which we affectionately call fetch. Or maybe there's enveloping and positioning. You could build a fort, maybe using the couch cushions, where one child gets to arrange all the cushions the way they want to, which is the positioning schema, and the other child gets to wrap themselves inside. So one gets to build it just so how they like it in their position, while the other feels the safety and security of being enveloped. They're working individually, but together. Next step, step 3, is you might just have to encourage some parallel play. Sometimes harmony comes from giving each other the space for their own play. Think about maybe personal work zones, close enough to feel connected, but separate enough to minimize conflict. So thinking about how they can be individual together. And number 4 is model compromise. Sibling dynamics will not always be smooth, and we can use these moments to teach them how to respond to each other's play, compromise, and collaborate. Now, if I lost you at the word model, model is a word that we use for showing. So you could show how you'd talk to each other, show how you'd do something so they can learn from you. If you've got all that thinking in your head, think it out loud. Oh, wow, I can really see that you're doing 2 different things, but you really want to do the same thing. How about for now, if we go in 2 different spaces and then we show each other what we're doing? You're thinking out loud how you do things. This is called modeling. Okay. Talking about schema clashes made me think about the recent one with my 2 children. There was a week, actually, who am I kidding? It's all the time when they've got schema clashes. For this one was obsessed with taking all the cushions off the couch, and that's all they wanted to do, take them off the couch. But the other one was wanting to build forts. So you can imagine there's one trying to take them off the couch, and then there's the other one trying to build them into something. So it was just build, throw, build, throw, build, throw. It turned our living room into an absolute battlefield. To start, what I did was some redirecting. What we did is one was able to take the cushions off the couch and throw them to the other side of the room, and the other one used them to make the fort. This worked for a little while, and there was both schemas being satisfied. The peace was restored, but only for a little while. And then there was another big blow up because all the cushions had been finished being used and the fort wasn't finished being built yet. Now, because I knew it was a disconnecting schema, I was able to redirect them to one of the puzzles where they could disconnect all the pieces, and a basket of toys we had where they could just disconnect to their heart's content by moving everything out of the basket. So I hope you can see through that. When you can see what's going on, it's not just kids annoying each other and trying to intentionally get on each other's nerve. They're working through schemas and they've just got this great desire to do something, even if it might not work with the other one. After the independent play episode, I had a listener question where they said, what do I do if one child always dominates the play? They can't play independently, but they also can't play with others, which is a great question. As I go through some ways to troubleshoot common challenges, have a think about how these can work with you. So to start, when one child overpowers the other. Quite often this is an older sibling and a younger sibling, or it could be a more extrovert and introvert. So what you could do is give the quieter or younger one a specific role that they can own within the play, like being in charge of arranging or collecting. Something they can do that's specifically theirs and remind the other one that that's their role, and then maybe swap later on. Maybe they will refuse to play together. Sometimes solo play is actually what they need, but to encourage independent play, what you could do is set aside a short window for sibling play. So the same as when you're trying to encourage them to do independent play, it might be, hey, today we're just going to do 5 minutes playing together and then they're going to play separately. It might be, again, like the independent play, you sit in the room so you can kind of manage the play, and then as they get better at playing together, you can move further and further away. Now, I hate to say, but there will be lots of clashes. When you have them, there's ways to manage them, and one of the best ways is to validate their feelings. Trying to just stop them and yell at them is not going to help their hearts and not going to help them want to play together more. So start by validating their feelings, saying, I see you're both upset. Let's figure out how to make this fun for both of you. Then maybe you could offer a fresh play idea that works for both schemas, or help them to come up with something together. Depending on their age, the more they're involved in it, the more they're going to enjoy it. So for your takeaway this week, I'd really love you to observe your child's play schema, note their differences, and see how you can overlap an activity that supports both play styles. And then celebrate the moments of collaboration and cooperation with specific praise, such as noticing what they're doing and saying it to them. This helps them understand what they're doing really well and helps them fill their bucket and enjoy it. So when they do it again, they can know what's going well and how to maybe replicate it. And of course, older and younger will depend on how well they can do this, but if you're starting young, they'll get used to it and get better and better at reflecting themselves as they're older. And remember, schemas evolve as your children grow. Stay curious and watch how their play transforms over time. They may have one schema they're working on, they may have 2 or 3. They may have been working on one schema one way, and then in a couple of weeks they're working on it but in a different way. It's really interesting to see how their play can grow and develop so quickly. So understanding play schemas can turn sibling rivalry into sibling harmony. By supporting their unique play patterns, you can create more peaceful and a more playful home. You can help them feel seen, heard, and validated. So my challenge, as I've just said, notice the play schemas they're working on and set up a friendly activity or a space that they can experiment with. And then share it with me. I would love to hear how you're going and how playtime is happening. So you can follow me on social media and connect with me there, which is @play_schemas. Or visit playschemas.com for more tips, tricks, and resources. I would love to hear all your stories. Next time, we'll explore part 3 of the series, how playing with our kids as adults can work and not taking over. If you want to dive in more, head over to the blog at playschemas.com/010 for the show notes and any bonuses attached to this episode. That's playschemas, schemas.com/010. And of course, I'd love to hear your playtime stories. Whether you're celebrating a win or trying to crack the mystery behind a new behaviour, I'm here for it. Reach out on social media or drop me a message. Until next time, say it with me, today is a great day to play.